Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Hello, everyone. We are here today to do a training on how to approach fire damage sellers without, you know,
Coming off as
coming
a
off as a honey
traditional
money.
wholesaler, money hungry investor. We want to just give you some of the best tips and strategies so that you're able to cultivate more fire damage opportunities. I don't know how many of you guys are living on the Northwest coast, all right, but half of California and Oregon and Portland, they're catching on fire. So let alone around the rest of the country. So Jennifer, what is that? Just for those who didn't catch it at the beginning, what exactly are we going to be discussing today?
So, we're going to talk about a few techniques you guys can start using when approaching fire damage sellers. It's one of our most commonly asked questions. So, we wanted to do this quick training, a very step by step training for you guys to start implementing these when you are approaching fire damage sellers, so you're not getting hung up on, and you're also not creating some serious mistakes that a lot of investors create and do, that actually end up sabotaging the deal afterwards.
Yeah, because it's what you don't know that ends up hurting your pockets. So that's why we want to just give you, just equip you with some things we train a lot of our fire damage students with. We want to give you guys knowledge if you guys have come across these opportunities in your market, what to do so that you don't, what we call sales reluctance, where you're blocking your own deals. We want to create these more opportunities.
Resistance, yeah.
Sales resistance, you do not want that part of your deals. You want to make sure you're doing more deals, closing deals quicker, more efficiently, and for more profit per deal by locking in this niche.
Yes, guys, and this method has been tried and tested not only by ourselves but by our students. Elijah, you want to tell them a little bit of like what it was like when you first started approaching these deals, and what were some of the issues you were having up front?
Listen, guys and girls out there, I've been there. All right, like I said, I was making phone calls. We're in the land of the gurus, as you know, out in Arizona. I go to first year, don't close any deals. Finally close a deal, great, happy. That second year did like 60,000. Third year made my first $100,000. I'm 24 years old, happy as a clam, thinking I'm gonna be a millionaire. Boom, '08 hits, bam. Now all the gurus, they're out of business. All the deals are drying up. All the buyers are drying up. Where am I going to find deals from? Going after probate deals, going after city violation deals. Boom, discover fire damage. Start talking to fire damage sellers. Treating fire damage sellers like it's a probate deal, like it's a city violation deal, got me hung up on. Treating them, asking, only caring about what's going on with the property, how much do you need for the property, only made my whole focus about the property, got me hung up on. People are cursing at me, telling me I'm a vulture, I'm a shark, while I'm out here taking advantage of people who just went through this type of tragedy. And so I started feeling horrible. And at one point, I stopped even going after these because I felt like I'm doing a disservice to them. I really didn't quite understand the different dynamics, the right conversation I should be having, the right questions I should be having, and hopefully from my lessons and what me and Jennifer went through and our experience can help you cut that curve, so you can get better results when talking with these sellers, so you don't get hung up on the way I got hung up on hundreds of times, so you don't have to. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to just get right into it, guys. We have a whole training set up for you guys. So for this, so you guys know exactly what to do when you come across one of these sellers. Approaching a fire damage seller, we have a very specific process for it. But first, we want to go over what you need to know before approaching a fire damage seller. Okay, so perfect. The first thing you want to that you're going to want to know is the seller has experienced one of the biggest losses a homeowner can experience, right? I mean, when you go and buy a house, whether it's a family home, whether it is an investment property, most people do not plan on their house catching fire. Yep. Right now, there's a lot of different, situations that homeowners end up in, like foreclosure. I mean, there's
divorce, but those are coming, right? If I get a divorce, I know it's coming. If I start making my mortgage payment, I know eventually one day it's going to happen. You don't wake up that morning, Jennifer. You go to work, you kiss your kids, that you think by the time I get home, all my stuff is going to be destroyed and my kids are going to be crying and I might lose my dog. no one wakes up thinking there's going to be a fire damage
Exactly. A
property.
fire is something that happens in one day, right? I mean, it happens right away.
Goodbye.
People are not prepared, and so that type of shock that they're experiencing, that type of loss, is going to also include a lot of grieving and a lot of variables that most sellers just don't have. And so, and this is one of the reasons why investors stay away from these, because they don't know how to necessarily approach it when the seller has lost their whole house, their home, their living situation. Many times, though, that's the last money that they had.
Yeah, and I mean, think about it, if you're living check to check, and then this happens, right? And so this is the last thing you had, and then throw on coronavirus, everything else that's happening, it's making it super hard. And then another thing that's happening here, these homeowners, I really want you to just get to understand the psychology of what's happening to these homeowners, okay? So make sure, I mean, if you guys are getting some value here, make sure you guys share this. Make sure you guys talk to other people and let them know that we're giving this luxury, very intentional learning training here so that you know exactly how to approach these sellers. So back to the psychology of the seller. So what the psychology of the seller is happening, they're being approached by all different type of vendors. You got contractors reaching out to them, hey, let me just help you restore your property. You got the board up companies who just boarded up the property without even asking them most of the time. You got fencing companies who's fencing off the property. You got paramedics there, somebody got hurt. You got neighbors asking what happened. You got the insurance guys asking, do you want to let's help you with the claim? You got the firefighters collecting information. These things are happening to you. They're getting barraged with, let alone the emotions, but all these different relationships, people that they don't quite know who they are, why they're there, how they're supposed to help them. It just all happens so fast. So just take yourself and try to step in their shoes for a moment and think how frustrated and how angered they might be filled because they don't know what's happening, let alone they lost everything.
Yeah, so the fact that they're being approached by vendors such as contractors, board up companies, and adjusters is also something you need to know, because their phone is already blowing up. And if you sound like one of those, you're going to be lost in that sea of vendors and people who just want to approach them for their reasons, right? For reasons that they're just not ready to deal with at the moment, especially as soon as the fire happens. And so that is why it's important to know that they're being reached out by a lot of different people. It's also, the seller might have lost a loved one,
Right.
a pet,
Yep.
important documents, vital documents, and other items with sentimental value.
I mean, think about that time. I mean, I know some of you guys out here had your rubber ducky. All right, you guys had that little blanket, your little blankie. I get it. Think if your kids lost that. All right, and think about that. These are the conversation and the feelings that they're having, and no other seller. Pre-foreclosures aren't having those issues. Short sales aren't having those issues. Low mods aren't having these issues. These other people aren't going through it, feeling those emotions. So when they start screaming at you, understand it's not really you. This is what they're going through, and this is why it's so imperative that you don't approach them in your traditional facet that you do every other wholesale opportunity with.
Yep.
Okay.
So those are the main things you guys are going to want to know before approaching a fire damage seller. So whether you're making the calls, your acquisition managers are making the calls, this is some basic knowledge that everyone should know when approaching them. Okay. So now we're going to talk about some common pitfalls. Time and time again, we get investors who come to us telling us that they called a fire damage seller. They asked them if they wanted to sell a house, and the seller said, don't call me again. Lose my number. Why are you calling me? This is something that is very common. If it's happened to you, you probably know what we're talking about. But the reason is everything we kind of already mentioned, right? Is that they're not trusting you. They're not feeling comfortable with your approach.
And just really understand that a lot of times when you have a homeowner who has high emotion and high tragedy, it's highly likely they may try to take it out on you. Most people don't have really good coping mechanisms. Most people even have worse financial literacy. So when you combine those two elements, low coping mechanisms and low financial literacy, and then you thrust them into just tremendous tragedy, it makes it really hard for them to try to know what they're going to do. So these are going to give you some key elements of things you're going to do and things not to do so that you can get more results when approaching these exclusive niche, because these deals are happening. These fires are happening. The only question is, are you going to start having that conversation with them, or are they going to be calling us and our students? Okay, so let's get into this, right? So let's talk a little bit about the do's, all right? So some of the things you want to do. And Jennifer talks to me about this all the time, all right? Make sure you're active listening. Active listening means God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth, all right? What did Uncle Dave say? If you listen to somebody long enough, they're going to tell you what's wrong. If you listen to them even a little bit longer and you remain quiet and ask some good questions and listen, they're going to tell you how to solve what's wrong.
How to solve their problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, active listening is so key because most people call with the intent to buy a house. Most people call with their end goal in mind. Mm-hmm. And so to be a listening ear to these sellers not only helps them to understand where they're at, to take some time to think about, right, what they're dealing with in order to help to open up to you about what their major, pains are. What are their major problems? Do they not have somewhere to live?
Right.
I mean,
in a hotel.
Right. And they'll keep, if you ask the right questions, and we have the 15 questions to ask a fire damage seller if you're wondering for those. But if you ask the right questions, they'll keep telling you exactly what their issues are that they want your support with.
And so that's a second do, right? Ask more questions than talking. A lot of us, we want to ask the questions, but we're just really eager to start talking again. And hey, if you see some of my old videos, I've been accused of that before. And you want to make sure you're just doing more listening than talking, and specifically asking some strategic questions that's going to allow them to open up to you and start talking to you and really start sharing what's going on with them. Then the third item here, what you really want to kind of focus on, is you want to look for possible solutions you may be able to provide to the seller down the road. Okay, it's like obviously you could give a cash offer, but more importantly, do you have a temporary housing? What? They have you in a hotel, but your policy says you should be in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Let's get you into one of my rentals, or here's an Airbnb. Let's get you set up there. Taking one extra effort, going that 1% extra degree further for them makes a tremendous difference. Do you need help listing the property? Do you need somebody to help box up your items? These are, by you asking these questions and offering these type of suggestions, you are literally starting to shift yourself from just being an investor with cash to being a trusted advisor who they want to open up, and they're going to want your support because they don't want to call their mom, they don't want to call their friends, they don't want to be a burden to anybody else. And now you're going out of your way addressing these items. You do those 3s: active listening, ask more questions, and then add more value by providing solutions that they even think about themselves. So those are some of the do's, right?
Yeah, so moving on to some of the don'ts, what not to do. So in order to avoid these common pitfalls, so you do not want to approach a seller like any other motivated seller. That includes your marketing, that includes your script, and overall the
demeanor.
Process. Yeah, the process. So don't get me wrong, these deals, there's still deals out there. You might still deal with investors who are willing to let go of their house, who are not in such an emotional state. So that does happen. And so you can do like a 1-call close. However, if you have a process that includes like a 1-call close, or you don't have a follow-up process, or you just try to put them into your regular follow-up process, you might actually be, going against the natural feeling that you want to provide for the seller, which is the trusted advisor approach that we talk about here, which is, it's not so much that you're just an investor with cash, but you are a trusted advisor, a specialist in this field, in this niche, who can help them and with one of the worst tragedies that they could have had in their homeowner experience. Right. So by you being able to do that, you really are do not approach a seller as any other motivated seller. That's the goal.
That's the first part, right? And second is what I see too many people do. I see too many people do this tremendously, is what they end up doing is they start approaching these sellers as a traditional homeowner. And what's the first thing you start talking about? So why you want to sell your house? Well, hold on a second. My house is on fire. I don't know what I want to do. So don't ask me what I do. I don't know what I want to do. So get off my phone. You just want to steal my equity. That is what you're going to get if you call these people with that demeanor, with that mindset. Then you start talking about the property. So tell me a little bit about the property. What repairs would you make? Well, the whole roof is gone. All right, so they're going to feel a little affected by this. They're going to realize, you know what? I don't have this all together. I'm not sure what to do. I'm feeling a little lost. And so, if are you asking about what the repairs are, you ask, do you want to sell? You're doing the traditional, investor, or I could give you 70% minus repairs. That's not going to fly here, guys. I need you guys to take that whole mindset and put that on pause and really put yourself in a position where you're going to start being able to approach these sellers with that compassion. I'm going to give you guys exact steps. We want to give you the 3 steps there so that you're able to really know exactly what not to do. And the third and final one is, until you get more seasoned and you have more skill set and you know exactly what to do as you're sharing this, you want to make sure you don't approach these homeowners between 3 to 7 days. You want to at least wait at least 3 days. And why do you want to wait 3 days? Because these homeowners are still shell-shocked. They're dealing with a tremendous amount that they're not sure how to deal with all these emotions, these feelings, and these efforts and these vibes that are just literally having these people in analysis paralysis. They're not sure what to do, who to trust, how to make things better. So that's why we want you to wait at least 3 days. 3 to 7 days is the average time you should be waiting before you approach this investor, or this homeowner, and just let them know that what you're able to do for them. But if you go any earlier time, you're going to be thrown into the bunch with all the other contractors, investors, the adjusters, the board up guys, all these people approaching them. They're just going to assume you're with them, and they haven't had a chance to cope or even come to the conclusion that, hey, no one's really going to come to save you. You're going to have to dig yourself up. Yeah, you're going to get an insurance check, but you have to figure this out for you and your family yourself. It takes about 3 days, we've seen it been our experience, for them to kind of, all right, so let me dust myself off. Let me start dealing with this. And that's when they need to talk to their trusted advisor.
That's right. So moving on to the opening sequence. The opening sequence here, which we're going to talk about, is, how do you open up the conversation? How are you looking to, when you're approaching this, seller, and you're giving them a call or you send them a message? The idea is that when you have the opening, right, is you have a small 2 to 5 second window of opportunity to make a good impression. If you don't, you will get hung up on, which will lead to discouragement and more call reluctance on your end.
So what she's trying to make sure you guys are really picking up what Jenny's dropping here is that just like every other phone call and any other wholesale deal or any other sales call in general, you have about that 2 to 5 window. Who is this that just listening? Should I hang up or not? Right? They're listening. Hey, should I be hanging up or should I be locking in? So that 2 to 5 minute time frame is going to be key for you to really be able to let them know who you are, who you're talking to, and what you do, all right, and how you're here to help, all right. And so by you doing that, and if you kind of follow our process, our proven process, it's going to increase your probability to be able to get these homeowners to take that 2 to 5 window and open it to 30 seconds and get yourself more time.
If you guys are liking this content so far, help us to share this, by sharing it in other groups or with some of your friends so they can see this content, start implementing it in their business. All we ask is that you share it. And if you guys want some more details on what we are sharing, you guys want to know more about fire damage, getting fire damage deals, hashtag get fire damage deals in the comments, and we will reach out to you. We'll set up a call and we'll talk to you all about how you can start going after these deals.
Hashtag get fire damage deals. And we'll make sure we follow up with you. Our admin or me or Jenny reach out to you directly so we can get you more details on how you can start closing more of these deals. So let's get into this, okay? So here's your opening sequence, all right? You want to make sure you kind of mirror their tonality. If you're dealing with somebody in down south, you're going to want to slow down. I'm not saying you have to go to a whole new jargon. You don't have to do all that, but you want to slow your pitch down. You want to match how fast they're moving. If you deal with somebody from East Coast or somebody up north, it might be a little bit faster, talk a little quicker, all right, so speed up a little more energy, a little bit more emphasis. Regardless, make sure, one thing I really a pet peeve of mine, make sure you enunciate Don't be slibber slobber in all your words. All right, treat yourself as a professional. They have to not only trust you, believe you, and like you for them to sell their property to you, let alone allow you to help them. All right, so match that tonality, make sure that they understand the vibes and the energy you're giving them.
Yes, and one last thing on the tone of voice. One thing that helps me is just be a human, right? Just really, I think a lot of times when we get on the phone, especially right now, a lot of people are getting calls left and right. I mean,
Woo.
we're a couple months before, or a month before the election, so there's a lot of calls coming in. If we sound like we are another person just wanting to give them a call for sell a product or anything like that, they're going to feel that. So if you just sound like a human, like, hey, Elijah,
Hey,
how's it going?
doing good.
If they are sound excited, you want to match that excitement. If they sound like they're just neutral,
yeah,
you
who's
want to
this?
match the neutrality. Okay.
Yep.
And so moving on to the calling by their first name.
Oh, my
I know that's
goodness.
a huge one. Just being able to, we don't call with hey, Mr. or hey, Mrs. We want to call and say their first name because it sounds like you're talking to a friend.
And Jenny hit it on the head, all right? Don't hello, is this Mrs. Future Ruben? Hey, so what you want to do is you want to be able to say, hey, how's it going, Jennifer? Don't ask, is Jennifer there? Assume you're talking to them. Assume, and then they'll correct you. No, this is not Jennifer. This is Elijah, or this is Sophia. Let me get my mom for you. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Can you get your mom? No worries, I'll wait right here for you. Mm-hmm. Hey, how's it going, Jennifer? Hey, Jennifer, how's it going? How's it going down there, Jennifer? And you see how I match tonality with the different level of energy I'm getting? I'm going to mirror them back. More importantly, I'm using the first name and assume that I'm talking to them, assuming that you're talking to them, all right? Whew, all right, so let's get into this one here. Jenny, would you please just explain use the 3 E's techniques before you break them each down? Would you at least tell them what they are, what the 3 E's that we teach?
Yeah, so these are 3 E's. This is a really simple way to think about your opening sequence because it's going to help you to not only build rapport, but it help you approach a seller confidently when they are in these dire needs, where they are in a place where they don't trust a lot of people. That can be very hard for most investors. We want to get in, we want to talk about the property and put it in escrow, right? However, by us using this technique, you're going to be able to not only hit on what the problems are, but you're also going to be able to have the seller trust you, or have a higher percentage, right? Higher possibility of that seller trusting you. Yep. So the 3 E's techniques to build rapport that will help you approach a seller confidently are.
So let's get into this, right? So what Jenny just said.
Empathize, educate, and empower.
Yep. So make sure you guys write that down. All right, grab your pens, grab your paper. If you don't get anything out of this training besides this part, this is the meats and the potatoes right here, all right? Make sure you have your to-go bag. You're going to want to box this up. This will be extremely valuable to you. This has helped me close hundreds of these deals, and Lily helped people take myself from being just an investor with cash to becoming a trusted advisor. Okay? Make sure you guys get ready to jot this down. Let's get into this. All right, so it's empathize, educate, empower. The 3 E's. Empathize, educate, empower. So the first part, you want to empathize with them, right? So instead of saying, all right, yeah, Mr. Investor, I'm here to pay cash for your property. I'm looking for houses in the neighborhood. I might want to say something to the effect of, hey, Mr. Investor, hey, Jennifer, I want to reach out to you. I'm with a national asset protection company where we help families save their largest assets. Okay, I know that you're recently in a fire. Is everything okay? Did you get hurt? Did you lose important documents? Did any animals get hurt? Are you in a safe place right now where you can talk? Do you see how that's tremendously different than, yeah, me and my wife were driving down the neighborhood and we're looking for a house to buy? No, you weren't. You saw my house was on fire and you're looking to steal my equity. All right, that's a tremendously different approach. So that's you empathizing with them. Are you okay? Is anything destroyed? Is there any way I can be of help right off the bat? All right, so that's the first part, that you're empathizing with them. Please, the more people you help, the more money you make in this niche. It's really a good field transaction. All right, so what's the second E, Jenny?
Okay, so the next step is educating. And so you already went over the empathize. Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So educate. So in order, I think you hit on the empathize part, but the empathy is something that you want to hit first. If you don't hit empathy, then you can't move on to educate.
Yep.
Once they feel that you have you've empathized with them, and in order for you to do that, you might have to ask what they're going through. Then you let them know, I understand how you feel. And then after you do that, and they feel that you have empathized with them, you feel like you understand where they're at. Then you can go into an educate. So, hey, Elijah, so, I want to let you know that 80% of the homeowners, they only get about 80% of what's owed to them. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. And so do you have insurance by any chance?
Yes, I do. I actually do have insurance.
Oh, that's good to know. Good to hear. I hope they're taking care of you. So Elijah, did you know, one of your options is obviously first you want to get your insurance, get your first insurance appointment set up.
Yep.
You want to get that estimate and make sure that they pay you as much as they can. But did you know that if they don't pay you all the money that you're worth, that you can actually go back to get more money?
That?
Exactly.
What? I didn't know that. I just assumed they're going to give me all my money. See, now, and that's what you're doing right there. You're educating them. You're letting them know, hey, not only you're only getting your money 80% of the time, you're only getting 80% of the money. But by the way, if you feel you're getting less, if you're not sure you're getting all your money, you can literally dispute this, and we can help you do that. And we're going to make sure we dot the I's, cross the T's. And if we can't get you one extra penny, you're not paying us a dime for our time. And so now that you educated them, now that you have empathized with them, now they know you, like you, trust you, now you empower them with the options. Because the more options you have, the better you feel. And so this is why you're going to start giving more empowering options. So you're going to encourage them to make the best decisions for their reasons, not yours. Obviously, we'd love to buy the property. However, we're going into this thinking we don't even need to buy the property, because the more I help them, not only most likely I could work a referral from my consulting fee from referring them to one of my restoration companies. If they want to rebuild, I might help them out with the insurance money. Cool. But more importantly, if I don't make one penny, I'm going to leave these people in a better position than where I met them. And who knows how God's going to bless me with back later on. Who knows how they can send a referral back to me? Most importantly, I'm building up my good karma credits, right? So if you go into that mindset, let me empower them with the best options for them. Meaning, hey, I don't think you should sell. I think it's actually smart that you keep the property. You don't have the funds to move out. You're by yourself. I think you need to stay in this 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo. Let's get you all the insurance money. Let's set you up with my restoration guys, and let's put you in the best position so that you are able not just to survive this fire, but thrive many years afterwards. So that's empathize, that's educate, and that's empower. That's the 3 E's, right, Jenny?
Yes. So when you guys are implementing this in your practice, now this also is a very good way to approach your wholesale deals. Obviously, it's a little different because it's not, you don't have the insurance options. However, a lot of the times when you enter with this mindset, you will actually see a lot more reciprocity in your calls with the sellers. So we want to leave you with those 3 E's. I want to hear from you guys. Those of you who've been watching us, definitely leave us some of your biggest takeaways from the training so far. And also, we're going to be answering some questions here for about another 5 minutes before we head out. If you want to know more about what we have going on and how you can start wholesaling fire damage houses, start earning up to 3 checks on one deal, make sure you comment #GetFireDamageDeals in the comments. We'll be reaching out to you. And let's take some questions. What are some of you guys' questions on how to approach fire damage deal? Make sure you drop those in the comment box.
Drop those in the comment box. Let's see what we can do to help add value to you guys. And understand we are putting together some 5-day challenge here. I know that's something that a lot of people have been reaching out, so that's be coming soon. Don't worry about that. But in the meantime, I'm getting hit up consistently with people looking to get these opportunities. So let's see, Justin, I know. So 3 E's, I will integrate into my traditional wholesaling. And by all means, just understand the more you do that, like I said, you empathize, because like you let them know I feel where you're at. I had a client who felt the same way. They found this, boom, and then you educate them. And so if it was not fire damage, you might educate them. Hey, there's comps in this area, this number. Hey, the schools are going in at this number. Hey, the tax revenue is dropping in this area. So that's indicating that this area is going under maybe revitalization. And then you want to empower them with options. And so empowering them with options might be cash option, creative offer, listing, JV option. So there's a couple different options you can empower. By all means, use the 3 E's in your business. You're going to see a tremendous amount of uptick in creating more opportunities. So here, I know there's another question. Somebody had a fire damage. Let's see. You got 2 fire damage.
This is Renee. Yep. So Renee said, I have 2 fire damage, but they didn't have insurance at the time. How do I assess this?
Good question. Good question. And so what you want to do, depending if it's a total loss or if it's a partial loss, what you want to do, if it's a total loss, you want to kind of see what's the tax assessed value for the land. You want to see what other lots go for in that area, because if it's, that means I'm going to have to scrape that existing building and then have that concrete slab and the infrastructure, the plumbing, everything under the ground. That's all in place, so there's some value for that. However, you want to negotiate the seller based on the tax value or just the land value if it's a total loss. So that's one thing you want to do. If it's a partial loss, then you want to get with the contractor or restoration company and ask them, what is the average dollar per square footage to rebuild a fire damaged property? Because it's a little different than a traditional, let me just add on some countertops, some flooring, your certificate of occupancy, this longer holding time. So you want to really get those numbers down and dialed in. And all you have to do is just call 2 or 3 restoration companies, ask them what the dollar per square footage is to rebuild. That's one way to self-assess those numbers so you can make better offers, okay? Next question is, where was it, Jenny?
So where do the 3 checks come from? The insurance?
Break it down for them.
That's a great question. So 3 checks are, one of them is wholesale, right? So we still cash offer wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is the supplemental claim from the insurance. And third one.
What's that one? What's a supplemental claim for those who don't understand?
And for those of you who don't know what a supplemental claim is, it is what we like to call thin air money. It is not necessarily coming from the air. However, many times homeowners are only being paid about 80% of what they deserve in their insurance. And so they're being underpaid. And what we're able to do is we're able to work with an adjuster of our choice, a preferred adjuster, and we have been able to consistently help fire damage sellers obtain the additional, money from their insurance, where we get also a piece of that for helping them, bring some money to the table that they were not expecting. And so that is the second check where we've had, again, some of these claims can go up to 6 figures. So these are really good checks, and they make this niche that much more profitable. Yep. And so the third check are rebuild and referral fees. Many times, as we all know, with the fire damage, they're basically JV agreements we have with other vendors who we refer when a fire damage seller needs it for either rebuilding, for relocating, and for board up costs. So those are all things that we share in our program, how to do that, how to reach out to them, and then how they can send you leads so that you don't have to go out and find these sellers. They can actually bring you some of these leads themselves.
And so just to recap that, so the 3 ways you get a check, you guys already know how to do the wholesale check, supplemental claim, how to get more insurance money with the initial insurance company offer them. Mm-hmm. So they keep 50% of any new money, and then we keep the other 50% with our adjuster, okay? And then the third one is we're either going to help refer them to somebody, help them rebuild the property, which we make a check on, or we can refer them to one of our contractors or our adjusters or our investors who have a rental property who can replace that rental property. So regardless if they want to keep it or they want to rebuild it or they want to just find new, they already trust you to buy the property. You already helped them get more insurance money. Why not have a couple other words, adds a couple extra zeros to your check by you understanding how to get all 3 checks in one deal, okay? Perfect. So let's see next question you have.
One more question, guys. So how long of a process is this on average? Turnaround time, 5 to 6 months. And so if you're asking about the insurance, the time varies. However, we like to say it's about an average of anywhere from 3 months up to if there's some back and forth and they're kind of arguing
the size of the claim, right?
It could be up to 9 months.
Easy. So I mean, if there's no insurance, then treat it like a traditional wholesale deal. There's no waiting. go ahead and capture the deal, close the deal in 2-3 weeks, just like any other traditional wholesale deal, if there's no insurance money. Now, if it's less than 30,000, you really don't want to stop and slow your deal down for less than 30,000. And most adjusters don't want to work on a supplemental claim that's less than 30,000 because it's only 30,000. A homeowner is going to get 15,000, and then you and him are going to split 15,000. That's 7,500 a piece. Most of these adjusters make really good money, so they won't play ball with the lower claims. So just to be clear about that. Assuming it's over 30,000, 30 to 50,000, you're going to be looking at about 3 to 5 months, okay? Additional time before you can close escrow to go ahead and capture and finalize that supplemental claim. However, if you're going at 90,000, 80, 90, 100, 6 figures plus, plan for 8 to 9 months, because remember, the insurance company wants to make this as hard as possible not to pay out the money to you or the clients. All right, the fiduciary responsibility isn't to the policyholder, it's to the actual homeowner, probably to the stockholder, and that's the problem here, and that's why they make it to bleed it out, make it a little harder. However, if the homeowner is going to make an extra 30, 50,000, trust me, they'll wait. They'll have no problem extending the close of escrow for you guys. Perfect. Shout out to Crystal. What's up, Crystal? Yep, she closed out a deal here. And so what we want to do here, we're going to be wrapping up here. So we take one last question here. This will be the last question here. We're going to wrap up. I'm doing this virtual. So do I have a contract to go out and put a lockbox so I can have bids buyer go out? Very good question. So first and foremost, you want to make sure you're analyzing the property correctly. If you analyze the property, you have your adjuster verify that there's enough insurance money to go after. You get the contract to sign the contract. Then, like just every other traditional wholesale, remember, you guys are just wholesaling. You just add in a couple more checks and a couple more zeros by having elite knowledge that no one else knows how to do. So, yes, you put the property on a lockbox, have your contractor give you a bid, let other buyers go in there, see, let them self-assess, have pictures, maybe show some comps, give them some comps what this could be, what you add on. Another good thing about this, I'm going to give you guys one free bonus gem, especially when you deal with your buyers when you're reselling fire damage deals. I mean, we just made $30,000 on this deal in Tucson when no one else wanted to buy this property. Well, once I let the investors know that because you have to put so much money into it anyways, instead of keeping a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom property as it's completely destroyed, you have to rebuild it completely. Why not make it a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and get more rents out of it? So being creative and thinking outside the box and allowing you to see what other value adds you could do, because you have to put so much money into these anyways. You might as well add that to the factor. Buyers will see, oh, I can get more money out of this by buying it at this price. Creates more value for them, value for you. Added bonus for you guys. Man, Jenny, what do you think? You think we gave some value?
I think we delivered some of the value. What do you guys think? If you guys got some value, make sure you drop us a comment. Let us know what you learned, and we'll be back to do some more trainings with you guys. We have a lot of fun stuff
and
planned.
A couple other things before we wrap up here. If you guys want, make sure you're part of our free Facebook group, Fire Damage Profits. If you're not part of the free Facebook group, join Fire Damage Profits. And like I said, if you guys want to learn more about the fire damage niche, you want to learn more about how to analyze deals, how to make 3 checks on 1 deal, how to get paid on deals you don't even buy, let alone what we taught you today, what's the best and most efficient way to approach these actual homeowners, just type in a hashtag get fire damage deals, hashtag get fire damage deals. If you want to learn more, we'll reach out to you. We want to make sure that we just work with people who understands what's about to come. Is going to be very devastating as far as the market adjusting here. I know some investors feel like it's going to go up forever. This is going to separate yourself by you knowing how to fish in a separate pond that everyone is fishing in is going to give you that competitive advantage. So excited that you guys got a chance to lock in with us. Jenny, you know what we like to say to them, right? So you like to do it. Each one teach one, each one reach one. Go out with today. Be a blessing to someone. See you guys in future trainings, y'all. Salute.
Bye.